I know I got like a bit emotional. Uh, it happens sometimes. Um, I don't want to get my hopes up, but there may be some development in housing opportunities. But I might not be able to make content for a while. I can still make content. I just won't. I'll have to I don't even know all the details yet, but most likely I won't be able to make content at least as regularly as I would like to. I'd still be able to go out into the community, and I have my phone, and um, what does the retouch even do? Well, it's turned off. I don't know. I don't even know if these opportunities are gonna come to fruition anytime soon anyway, but it's just kind of like there's a possibility that things are gonna change, but it's gonna require, at least in a few things, taking a step back. But I talked to um, one of the people I work with, and she was even assuring me that it's actually not a step back. It sounds like a step forward. Um, I've been kind of exhausted all day. I usually am after getting this upset. I had some junk food. I had some I had some potato chips. But that's okay. It's not like I eat junk food all the time. And I got some sugar-free, zero sugar root beer. Um, I'm rewatching Arrow, like the CW Arrowverse. I was watching in Spanish, but at some point I think it's just I switched over back to the original English, so just kind of you see things differently when you watch it the second time. Whenever you rewatch a show, I've rewatched Star Trek: The Next Generation like I think at least 5 times. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up, Weston? Hey, Kaylee. I took a nap, and after my stream from earlier, I got really emotional, and I'm going through a lot of stuff, but my resolve is stronger even though I feel weaker. And I tried journaling some more. I was just journaling a little bit. See, what happens is I'll watch YouTube and I have to catch myself whenever I see something that gets me like emotionally triggered, and then I want to like comment. I'd rather just journal about it. Yeah, today sometimes days go by pretty fast. Today went by pretty slowly for me. I've been having trouble following through with my journaling and my writing. I started to get into a good writing habit for my novel, and I think I kind of overdid it. I've had to take the past few days off from writing anything. Right now, it's 2041. Oh, so it's the same time. I've been kind of enjoying it. I know I just need to keep typing or keep putting pen to paper. But lately I've just been so just fixated on my own problems. It's really hard to focus on my novel. I try to channel it through it, but I really have to maintain objectivity in order to write my novel. And I know, yeah, writing a draft shouldn't matter, and maybe that's just an excuse, but I have extreme difficulties following through with things when it's difficult. Even when it's not so difficult, but I think a couple days of not writing any scenes for my novel is fine. And I was trying to journal, but I was tired of journaling and going in circles. But, it's like one of the things that bothers me is like when people just have been running with like these narratives that are trying to dismiss the lived realities of trans people by finding this has always kind of bothered me because my heart is aching for anybody who has undergone gender transition and then regretted it. That is a terrible outcome for anybody. I would know because I know what gender dysphoria feels like. And when somebody took an action and then it ended up being something that caused them gender dysphoria rather than alleviated it, that's terrifying. But what happens is they find one or two people out of like, I think like one or two people out of 1,000 or something like that will end up regretting it. And then they get really loud about it. And I understand that, yeah, people should not be falling through the cracks, but it's going to happen. And it's really unfortunate that these people are being used for political agendas. Some of these people choose to be used for political agendas, and it's bothering me. Because it's like reframing the concept is like so difficult for people to do. People get stuck down the same narrow way of thinking about things. And then I notice I get stuck in the narrow-mindedness. Yeah, well, good night, Kaylee. I get stuck in my own bullshit. And I know that, like, just because I think the difference between, like, how I used to feel about questioning things, questioning something doesn't mean you have to undermine all the progress you've made. I made choices about my gender transition, and I made them knowing that it may not turn out the way I wanted to. But I stuck by those choices and I accepted that regardless, I'm not ever going to regret those choices. That I'm going to accept that I made those choices and I'm going to live with them. And it's unfortunate that not everybody, I think everybody has the right to feel like they made mistakes and that they want to place blame on somebody. I get that. And it's not my story to tell, because I'm one of the people who's a success story. I'm not a tragedy as far as gender transition goes. But it makes me think about things that I might need to question about myself, about all the beliefs I have about the world and about myself. But questioning things doesn't mean I have to hit the emergency brake. It's possible to question something, but also maintain a course. You can course correct. It doesn't mean you have to do a U-turn. And so, I might have to make some compromises for a temporary amount of time in order to get rid of the comfort, quote unquote, that I'm enjoying, quote unquote, with this living situation. Because I do have some comforts. I have legal status here, legal protections from being on the lease. I have pretty good privacy, considering. It's not what I want it to be, but it could be worse. And I'm pretty safe, even though I'm in a trailer. I have a lot going for me here, but I could also make some compromises that are scary, that I don't really know what to expect. and get into a living situation that might not be exactly what I want, but it'll get me on the way towards it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the living situation I'm in is a dead end. Sometimes you need to take a step backwards in order to take a step forward. And it doesn't mean going into homelessness. That would be a step backward. But going into some kind of other option that I am not fully comprehending until I actually go through with it. But people are promising me that it's not going to be as terrifying as I think it is. And I just need to trust that. Because I made a decision that could have had devastating consequences when I went into that hospital for that surgery. Multiple surgeries, actually. But definitely this previous surgery, the final one, the vaginoplasty. I made a decision that no matter what happens, I will never be able to move forward unless I go through with it. And so I did. Even knowing that when I came out of the surgery, I could have ended up with permanent loss of sensation. I could have lost the ability to orgasm. I could have had serious complications that would have jeopardized my life. I could have died on the operating table. So I made that choice. To me, it was actually like the easiest choice I've ever had to make. And yet I seem to struggle making choices that aren't so difficult comparatively. A living situation is not risking death. Risking homelessness is not risking death. And yet I made that decision very carefully. But when it came time to make the decision, I did it like it was nothing. And so I need to draw on that strength. That there is a strength within me, capable of falling backwards into darkness with no promise of someone catching me on my way down. However, I'm not alone, and it's not darkness, and I'm not falling backwards. This might be the best thing that ever happened to me, is to work with a home that is assisted living, to have my own private living space that I just, won't be able to make content from. That's not the end of the world. And that's temporary. And there are workarounds. I can make content other locations. It's going to be a little challenging. But even if it's a long-term situation where I'm going to struggle to be able to make content, I'm going to be making forward progress in other areas of my life. I might even be able to get a regular job. I really miss having a sense of regularness to my life. I really miss being able to go into a job. Wouldn't it be great if I could have help to have possibly be able to find a job so that I could just go to be a normal person for a little bit while I work on my side content creation? And if that works out, that would be great. And I can see where that goes. But you know how much I wouldn't give, to just have, a regular, routine where I get to interact with people instead of being isolated. It might be the reason why my content creation stuff has been so mediocre. I don't have a connection with people. You can't make content if you don't have a connection to people. Like human connection. The everyday things. Having responsibility. Those things create art, not the other way around. I know that. It's just I've been terrified of how things would be because I didn't want to risk losing my surgery. But hey Hari Keyshawn, welcome back. Now that's all over. It's been 14 months since the surgery. I'm only just starting to kind of like come out of all that. You know, so maybe I should give myself some slack. Hey Luke 3, the revenge. Now that I'm finally facing things that I've been avoiding, like the regular stuff, like, you know, potentially having a situation where I'm going to be able to move out, but it's not going to be a completely perfect situation. It's not going to be a homeless shelter, but it's going to be a situation that's a little bit more restrictive. And it's not prison. They're promising me that it's not institutionalized. They're promising me it's not going to be like the mental hospital. It's not like that at all. I guess it's like a just like a group home or like a halfway house or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly what to expect. I only got tip of the iceberg information about it. But I'm going to have to let go and just let the process happen. Because I know that living here in this trailer is destroying me. Being around my dad, picking up on his negative attitude and his negative living, like his lifestyle, I can't let that bring me down. Yeah, we have played chess. You've been here before. I remember you. We talked about how it was like Hare Krishna, but like you're Hari Kishan. This might be the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah, I see, like I could do IRL streaming more. It'll encourage me to get out of the house to stream. I might not be able to stream there. I might be able to. We'll see. I don't want to break the rules. I'll have to make sure that whatever I do is within, like I have permission to do. I'm not a bad girl. I don't break the rules. But I don't know when or if this is going to happen. I was told there are housing opportunities in this location. It's a different location. I'm going to have to move to a new location. And it's going to be a little scary, but honestly, I think that's what I need. When I was in Sacramento at the mental hospital, I was journaling about how wouldn't it be great if I could get some opportunities to just try living on my own in a different location, in a place I've never lived before? Truly be independent. Challenge myself to grow. What am I scared of? And I'm not going to be alone. I'm going to have assistance. I'm going to have specialized help. You know, I'm going to have helpers. I'm going to have case management. I'm going to have therapy. It's just I have a lot of preconceived notions about getting help. in that kind of like it scares me because I've seen too many movies or I've heard too many horror stories. To me, in my mind, when I get told that there is like an assisted living facility, in my mind that sounds like a mental institution. In my mind that sounds like a prison. And I know that's not what's going on. They assure me of that. Your journals. Yeah, I mean, I'm also journaling on my live stream, kind of, a little bit. It's a little bit different because it's public. Oh, you mean the journaling about going out and trying to do things in a different location? Sonoma County has been my world for my entire life, for 37 years. I feel like I've exhausted all my resources here. And possibly not, probably not. But I think it's time for me to go somewhere else for a while. Maybe not Sacramento, but maybe. It's a little scary going like kind of more towards a more conservative area, but I need to stop being prejudiced. Yes, I'm a trans woman, but I've had surgeries, but even if I didn't, I need to give people the opportunity to show me who they are and not be prejudiced about places that are considered to be more conservative. I have a lot of preconceived notions about people, and I need to give them the opportunity to prove me wrong instead of assuming the worst. That I might actually fit in really well in more quote unquote conservative areas. I'm not necessarily a super liberal person. I'm going to be kind of blunt. I would be considered moderate left because I believe in freedom of choice, and I'm transgender. That kind of I guess not always, but it kind of goes hand in hand with more freedom, which is more liberal. Personal freedoms are like extremely important to me. Bodily autonomy, that's literally considered liberal. Like when you allow people to have freedom, but it means that you have to make some concessions to people that don't agree with you. If you truly want freedom, it means that the people you don't really like are also going to have those freedoms. And you have to accept that. It's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me too. But I'm stepping out into a world that I am not going alone. I'm getting the assistance of case management. And even if I was going alone, sometimes that's what people really need. Some people enter this country with nothing but the clothes on their back or a nickel in their pocket. And they started life for themselves. They work hard. I've never really given myself that opportunity. I tried. I was thrown into the deep end when I was homeless for 4 years. But I didn't have the kind of support I have now. I certainly wasn't the same person I am now. Back then, I wasn't strong enough to transition. You look like kids' movie heroine. Just me against the world. Don't I have like more of a villain appearance? I don't know. I always thought that I would play a really good movie villain. Even though I'm like, as a person, I'm like a really nice person. But like I feel like I have like movie villain energy. Like, you think you can stop me? I don't know, maybe maybe not. Um yeah, I am kind of Disney, huh? Like I kind of have like some like a generic like Pixar movie woman. Um Not Pixar mom. I can't pull off that look. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have wide enough hips. Yeah, villain, acting is difficult. I'm not super trained as an actor, and I would like to be, but I think, one of my case manager people was talking to me today. I don't even know what to call. I've lost track of all the job titles. Just excuse me when I misuse a word. Um, but she was talking to me today and like kind of reminding me that like it sounds like the number one priority is housing and everything else is going to fall short. Everything else is going to fall on its ass if I don't take care of this housing situation first. And if that means I have to go into a situation where it's a little bit scary, where I might not be able to have as much liberty for a temporary amount of time because I'm going to be in a different situation that's going to have house rules and stuff like that. And I don't think you're allowed to have a business in your room. But I don't consider content creation, isn't that just an employee? That's not like that's like working remotely. I'll have to talk to them about it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't count as a business. I think it counts as being an employee, which that would be the same as working remotely. Like I'm pretty sure like live streaming, like streaming on YouTube, that wouldn't that be considered remote work legally? Cuz it's like what is it, a 1099? I don't know. I'll have to see it. We'll see what happens because I haven't even agreed to anything yet because I don't have all the information. I'm 37. I look like invisible classmate. Oh, like I'm the classmate that just like is the friend of the main character or something. Oh no, like I'm the main character, but I'm invisible. I'm like the one that everybody's ignoring. And then I suddenly become a superhero or something. Except I don't think I could pull off playing a high school student. Well, the characters in 90210 were like in their 30s. And they were supposed to be in high school. And that was like one of the top shows in the 90s. I don't know if anyone would cast me in a big mainstream movie, but anything's possible. I think I'm a little bit too messy of a social media presence, but nowadays that's actually kind of a plus. Who knows anymore? I don't think the rules matter anymore. All the things we thought we knew about the media, like I think it's going out the window. As long as I'm not like, doing like racist, like, I don't know, sometimes people even do blackface. I'm not doing that though. I don't have any kids. I got a Sharpie rollerball. I'm really liking it. It's a 0.5 millimeter rollerball. I also got a Sharpie gel pen and a Pentel gel pen. So here's the Sharpie gel pen. This one's a clicky. This one is a rollerball and it has the cap. And I also got, I like the grip for the Pentel. It has a nice grip. It kind of makes me feel like I'm holding, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like I'm holding a printer. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it feels very, like, mechanical, like, kind of grip. But the gel pens, they're a little bit more wild. The ballpoint pen is the hardest for me to use because it requires too much pressure, and my hands lock up. The rollerball pen is a pretty good situation. It's not as good as a fountain pen as far as ease of use, like as far as like gliding on the page with like zero pressure, basically. But rollerball is a really good compromise. Really like rollerball because it's a middle ground between ease of writing and utility, because it doesn't require filling an ink reservoir chamber. And my fountain pen, if you don't use it, it'll end up getting clogged. Like, it'll dry up. And then it's annoying because you have to clean the nib. And like, it's a little bit more maintenance, and it's also can be a little bit more messy too. But I really like my fountain pen, but I think the rollerball is a really good middle ground. And I think, like, you know, the willingness to make compromises. Like, I have made a lot of compromises already. I made tons of sacrifices too, that I think might not even end up being sacrifices. I think maybe maybe it's a little too soon to tell. Maybe what I consider to be sacrifices are only temporary setbacks. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't make any sacrifices to get, you know, all the surgeries I needed. Maybe they were just temporary setbacks. Maybe I was just setting things aside as a compromise so that I could focus on what I needed to do and get what was important, because I wouldn't be able to move forward knowing that I had an opportunity to pursue it. And I didn't want to be a person who lives with regrets. Especially considering the way the political climate is right now. I dodged a bullet by getting the surgery before this political chaos started to unfold. I may have saved my life. And so I knew what needed to be done, and I did it. And I made sacrifices, or at least compromises. Temporary setbacks. Because I'm strong. No matter what has to happen, I will do it. If I get knocked down, I get up again. Even if I've been pissing the night away. Pissing the night away. I get knocked down, and I get up again. Don't anyone keep me down. I get knocked down. I've seen things that I think a lot of people are only just now beginning to see about the way the world has been going. And It's a little bit too late for I told you so. But I told you so. All those things that I saw coming, I took action. I said, I have an opportunity to get this surgery. I'm not going to squander it. I'm going to get it done. And I did. And nobody can ever take that away from me. But now I'm going through a new crossroads. I have new questions to answer. Questions that I didn't really think I would have to answer. I didn't think things would feel this difficult once I started facing them. That for 5 years and then now 6 years. But, these past 14 months were kind of like another type of transition. But for 5 years, I had a purpose. A singular purpose. It entailed multiple things on the way, but it was a singular purpose. I had a single track of getting that fucking surgery. And I didn't let anything stop me. And now I have to pull myself up and focus on a new single track. I need to become independent. Financially, socially, like with my relationships. I need to build financial stability. I need to build my career, which are two different things. But I need to be able to do so while pursuing financial stability first. And I do have a pretty solid foundation to start with supplemental security income. And I was told by my case manager that when I move to one of these living situations that they're going to work on increasing my payments. So I'm actually going to be making more money. And they're going to help me budget my money better. They're going to help train me to have job skills. And I have to believe that. Because I've been holding on to hope that I could make things work while I'm living here in this trailer. But it's just becoming increasingly obvious that I'm not going to be able to make any progress until I say goodbye to this trailer. Until I move into a scary new environment. That might not be so scary at all. It might actually be really good. I might actually be really happy. I'm going to be able to interact with people more often. I might make some new friends. I'm going to be in a completely new part of California. I'm going to be able to make my own identity away from this place that I've spent 37 years of my life living in. Having my identity forced on me until I said, no, I am not who you think I am. I am something more beautiful. But this place brings me down. It has too many painful memories, too. Good memories as well, but I need to set the past down. I need to forge ahead. I need to build a new identity for myself an identity where I get to find out who I am. Hey, High Life. I'm kind of excited over who I can find out who I can be. I might be that friendly chick that somebody gets to meet randomly and have a new best friend. Oh, hey, Head Smoke Vipe. Yeah, I meant to unban you. Your friend asked me to unban you. I don't even remember why I blocked you. I should have just timed you out, probably. I'm kind of like getting excited about my future. Think about all the opportunities I would miss out on if I didn't go and have this new challenge. By staying here into what's quote unquote comfortable, I'm not allowing myself to go out there and experience what's possible. Imagine if I bump into somebody and suddenly I have a best friend. Someone that I could build memories with. What if I fall in love? What if I find my partner, a boyfriend or a girlfriend? What if I found career opportunities? What if I find a new passion, a new hobby, a new way to give my life meaning? I need to open myself up to those possibilities rather than the fears of what if I end up failing? What if I end up homeless? What if I end up... Why not flip that around? What if I find family? What if I find beauty? What if I find a new career option? What if I find career opportunities that will advance my current career options? What if I meet new friends? I need to allow those kind of thoughts. What about all the random adventures I can go on with you guys? Going on IRL video chats? We could go explore things that I've never explored before. We could go, what if we run into something cool like a street performer? I don't really consider myself a gamer, but I do play games sometimes. There are all sorts of things that might be happening within my future, chat. Or, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I think it's good to imagine the adventure. And, when I feel comfortable and when it's safe to do so, I'm going to share that adventure with you guys. This is only the beginning. We're putting a close to the previous chapter of my life. It's taken 37 years. And these last 6 years were absolute torture. This last year and several months since the surgery have only been the prelude to the next grand adventure of my life. And I need to allow myself to get to see where that takes me. And, I don't really know exactly where it's going to take me. And it might be scary. It might be more mundane than I'm imagining, but I'm going to have to take the leap. And maybe this next leap will be the one that takes me home. Scott Bakula.